Matimba. Matimba. Mata. Mata. Manda. Manda. Amanda. Comrades, I greet you all in the name of the African National Congress. You don't look like defeated troops. You are not defeated, are you? Are you defeated? Hey, I can't hear these days. Are you defeated? Amanda. Program Director, Acting Secretary General, Comrade J.C. Duarte, Treasurer General, Comrade Paul Mashatile. I haven't seen the other officials. Are they here? No. They apologize. The National Chair is traveling. The DP is also traveling. Members of the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress, the President of the ANC Women's League, Comrade Batabile Dlamini, the President of the ANC Veterans League, Comrade Suki Zigalala, the leadership of the ANC Youth League, both nationally and provincially, the leadership of the alliance partners, the Congress of South African Trade Unions, the South African Communist Party, members of the PEC of Gauteng, and the REC of our region here, comrades and friends, and of course members of the religious community, as the Reverend from the Rastafarians was praying. They said she has a very big constituency here. Comrades, we meet following a meeting of the National Executive Committee, which held its special meeting yesterday, where the National Executive Committee made a preliminary assessment of the past elections we've just had. A week ago, millions of South Africans went to the polls to cast their votes in the 6th local government elections since the advent of democracy in our country. Once again, these elections were held in conditions of peace and stability, where every citizen was able to cast their vote freely and without any fear. The holding of regular, free and fair elections is one of the great strengths of our constitutional democracy, something that we must be proud of as South Africans and continue to applaud this freedom that we have attained. This process of elections gives meaning, comrades, to the declaration in the Freedom Charter that no government can justly claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people. And that's exactly what happened during the local government election. The will of the people was expressed. As the African National Congress, we wish to congratulate and to thank all South Africans, underline all South Africans, who voted on Monday, and also those who voted on the special voting days. We congratulate them for exercising their democratic right to vote for whomsoever they wish. Every single vote counts, and every single vote contributes to determining the path of our country, the path that we will follow as a people. We wish, comrades, to commend the Independent Electoral Commission for mounting a massive logistical operation and ensuring a successful election. Let's give them a round of applause. The IEC did this mammoth task and achievement under difficult conditions that were created by COVID-19. The pandemic cast doubt on the viability of the election and severely affected the election timetable as well as the planning thereof. It is a credit to the IEC, but it is also a credit to state institutions such as the South African Police Service, as well as the SANDF, and indeed all political parties, that the election went ahead and that it was so successful. Let's applaud our institutions. On behalf of the leadership of the African National Congress, comrades, we wish to thank all ANC candidates, ANC staff, ANC campaign workers and volunteers for the extraordinary effort that they put into this hard-fought election. And I'd like us to give them a standing ovation. Let's applaud them because they ran a fantastic election. Thank you, comrades. Comrades, it was most pleasing to go around the country, all of us, as we were campaigning, for all of us to go around the country to meet our candidates, but also to meet our volunteers who were working day and night, making sure that we get this election outcome. Thank you very much. With limited resources and with preparations hampered by COVID-19 restrictions, ANC volunteers carried out an intensive campaign across the length and the breadth of our country. As the ANC, this was probably the most difficult election campaign that we have ever undertaken. And it is, yes, in the end, the worst electoral outcome for the ANC in 27 years of democracy. But it was a difficult campaign. That we must admit. This is the first time, comrades, that the ANC share of the national vote has fallen below 50%. The ANC's support declined in all provinces, and we only achieved an outright majority in 2 of the 8 metropolitan municipalities in the country. The low voter turnout is of great concern to us. Only 46% of the registered voters cast a ballot in this election compared to 56% of registered voters in the last two local elections. Beyond the impact that such a low voter turnout had on the ANC's performance, such a low turnout has grave implications for our democracy, for building an active citizenry, and for the standing of local government institutions. It's not just bad for us as the African National Congress, but it is bad for our democracy. It is something that we, as the African National Congress, must do something about. That we must be able to get the majority of our people out to go and vote, because it is important that every one of us participates in the democratic architecture of our country. Now, the NEC, in its preliminary assessment, felt that it is important that the ANC as a whole should undertake an extensive and detailed assessment of these election results and the factors that were critical in determining the outcome that we had. Comrades, while there are many issues that would have contributed, many factors that would have led to this outcome, we are the first to acknowledge that the most critical factors are those that have to do with the state of our organization, our glorious African National Congress, as well as our performance in government. The poor state of many municipalities was a key factor to the decline in support for the ANC, which was obviously exacerbated by high levels of unemployment and poverty and serious concerns about crime and safety. We acknowledged, if we recall, comrades, many of the problems in municipalities in our own manifesto, but we also acknowledged it as we interfaced with our people during the election campaign. We said that many municipalities have not delivered as they should have. We said that, yes, what our people have been complaining about, the corruption that they could see, feel, and touch, was happening and was a reality. We also admitted that there has been wastage as well as underspending in many councils, and that in several communities, service delivery is a major problem. We ourselves said this, and as we went around the country, our people told us all this. I must say that in nearly every meeting that I had to attend and address and interact and interface with our people, these are sentiments that they expressed. And this was also expressed by those who are hardened ANC loyalists and supporters, including our own members. This is the reality, comrades, that we must face up to. This is the truth that our people told us on the campaign trail. And this is what we should not just admit on paper. This is the reality that we must internalize. And yes, admit that this is what has made our people not come out in the large numbers that we expected. It is important in our cultures that yes, we must be able to admit that this is what we did, this is what has happened, and in doing so, the process of redemption, the process of correction, the process of putting things right then begins. Basic services, comrades, such as water, was raised numerous times by our people, and they said to all of us as leaders as we went around that this is a major problem that affects us and that afflicts our people. They also said the electricity is a major, major problem. And yes, and we saw it, we felt it, and we experienced it ourselves. And they also spoke about the debt and the filth in their towns. Wherever one went, there was rubbish all over the show, papers, plastics all over the show. And these are the issues that our people raise. Our task is to internalize this. But they also raised another issue. They also raised the issue of disunity and factionalism within our own ranks. And they said in many ways that this is what is eating the ANC away. This is what afflicts us. We fight continuously as though there is no tomorrow. We are not united at leadership level especially. That's where we fight to the death. And comrades, sometimes this leads to people dying. Dying in our branch meetings. Dying in our conferences. And this is what our people see. They look at the television screens, they read social media, and they hear about this. And then they say, this is a disunited organization. Why should I support it? This is the reality, comrades, that we need to live up to. Yes, comrades, they also raised the issue of corruption. They raised it sharply, and each time any one of us omitted to mention it, they would raise it. A voice would come from the crowd there and say, corruption as well. They also raised the issue of patronage within the African National Congress itself, and these are issues, comrades, that have had a significant impact on voters' attitudes towards the organization. You must remember that the African National Congress is a big brand. It's a brand that spans across the whole country, from north to south, east to west. There is not a single place, town, township, village, city, or metro where the ANC does not exist. These others, they are just patchy. They are not where we are, because we are everywhere. And that is the African National Congress. And it is this, comrades, that all these things that damage this brand. As we fight, as we engage in corrupt acts, as we display disunity, this is what damages our brand. And we must face up to it. And as they say, the first task of correcting yourself is to admit your status where you are. Now, what is most crucial is the link that our people form between the state of the ANC and our performance in government at all levels. When they look at us, they say, this is what is happening in their organization ipso facto. It speaks for itself that even in government, they will not perform well. And in many cases, yes, our factionalism, our internal fights has an impact on our governance capability, because we fight like there's no tomorrow, as I said, and we forget that what we are there to do is to serve the people of South Africa as a whole. That is what the ANC was formed for. Now, in the end, our people make their own analysis, comrades. And the analysis that they make is that a weak and divided ANC will forever be incapable of addressing their needs and their concerns. That is the conclusion that they come to. Now, this election, comrades, has sent a very clear and strong message to the African National Congress, clearer than we have possibly ever had before. 5.5 million South Africans voted for the ANC in these elections. Those 5.5 million South Africans, give or take a few hundreds of thousands, reaffirmed their confidence in the ANC to lead their municipalities and to provide the services that they need. So out there amongst our people, there are people who still have confidence in the African National Congress. There are people who are still willing to bet on the ANC, willing to give the African National Congress a chance. Through their votes, they said that they continue to support our movement, but that they expect us to correct our mistakes, to restore our values, to serve the people of South Africa more effectively. That is what they said. At the same time, millions of people who voted for the ANC in the past chose to stay away from the polls. And there are millions of them. Comrades, they chose to stay away rather than cast their votes for any other party. Now, those other parties who are raising their little ponytails, thinking that it's over and done with the ANC, just remember that many of the people who stayed away felt that they would rather not vote for them. They would rather stay away and show their support for the ANC. And in so doing, comrades, they made a powerful statement about their disappointment in us, their discontent, and their frustration with us. But they felt that rather than give their votes to others, they would rather keep their votes. And those are the people that we must go back to, because they are our supporters and we must go and work for them. By not voting, they have sent a clear message, comrades, that the ANC is not living up to their expectations. Most importantly, they have said that the ANC must fix itself. It must fix its problems if it is to be trusted to effectively serve the needs and the interests of the people of South Africa. Comrades, there will be various analyses, but the people of South Africa have spoken, and they have spoken more directly to us. And it is us, the African National Congress, in whom they have always stored their confidence, their aspirations, their hopes, that they have spoken. They know what we are capable of. They have seen us working for them. They have seen our leaders dedicated to working for them day and night. But now they say, we want you to correct yourselves. What they have effectively done, comrades, is to put a comma in the sentence, not a full stop. That's what they have done. And we must therefore say, comrades, we must therefore say we have heard them because they have spoken very loudly. Comrades, we do not celebrate our losses. We respect the message we have received from the voters of our country and will act with urgency and purpose to correct our mistakes and significantly improve our performance. Repeat, significantly improve our performance. That is what we are going to do. Those South Africans, comrades, who voted for us and those that stayed away have in different ways both given us a very firm instruction to undertake without any further delay the fundamental changes and the fundamental renewal of our movement. That is the instruction they have given us. The renewal and rebuilding of our movement will be our overriding organizational priority as we emerge from this election. We recognize that if we are to regain the confidence of the people, we need to change in far-reaching and fundamental ways. Voters have sent a clear message that we need to focus on governance, on ridding councils of corruption and maladministration, and on making sure that services are provided to our people reliably as well as affordably, without any form of corruption. That is our immediate task. Now that the election results have been declared, we are focusing our efforts on establishing progressive and developmental local government in as many parts of the country as possible. While we have seen a decline in our support, the reality is that the ANC is still, by a significant margin, the most popular political organization in the country nationwide, whether they like it or not. That is the reality. We have received more than 10.6 million votes. We have more than 4,500 local government seats. There's not any other party that has as many seats as we have. And we have an outright majority in 167 councils, comrades. That is not chicken feed. That is serious. We are the largest party in every metro except Cape Town and Nelson Mandela Bay. The results of this election provide us with a firm mandate to implement the commitments we made in our election manifesto in municipalities across the country. It also gives us a solid foundation to enter into coalition agreements in those municipalities where we did not win and where we do not have an outright majority, but where we nevertheless have substantial support. The fundamental consideration, comrades, that informs any agreement we enter into with any party is whether it will enable us to implement our electoral mandate and contribute to the improvement of the lives of the residents in that municipalities. So, comrades, let it be clear, we are not going to enter into coalitions at all costs. We are not. Now, a number of parties are going around boastfully saying, yeah, we will not work with the ANC. But who said we want to work with them? So to capture this media space, I want to have a camera. I have a camera. We will not work with the ANC. We don't want the ANC. It's okay. We are not on our knees. We are not on our knees. And if, comrades, if we have to be in opposition, then we will be in opposition. So in the end, comrades, I don't want any one of us to go around with their heads hung down, feeling that we are defeated. Oh, Mudimu Rituse, hey, what, hey, and so on and so on. No way. We are the African National Congress. Now, I want to make it very clear. Now, our Acting Secretary General is commanding all the discussions that are taking place countrywide, delegating to our leaders at the provincial level, delegating to a number of NEC members. They are busy, they are working. Comrade Jeff Kadebe is busy, is working, Balula and them. We've got the brain power behind all these discussions that are taking place. So, we are going to be strategic. Our decisions as we enter into any coalition agreement will be principled. They will be political and they will be strategic. We will not go cap in hand to anybody. But at the same time, comrades, we will have an open mind. We will have an open mind where we will be able to have discussions on a very respectful basis, where we will see the extent to which we will be able to structure coalition agreements properly. We don't want casual arrangements. No, coalition, and conditions. And the conditions must be clear. So, comrades, we will be clear and we will want to have agreements. And those agreements, comrades, will be made known to you as the membership. They will be made known to our candidates. They will be made known to the voters of our country. We want coalitions that are stable. Coalitions that have been formed in the past have been very unstable. But we want stable coalitions, but we also want credible coalitions, and we want to have a situation where we have agreed on a program of work. It must be a program of work that delivers to the people of our communities. Another immediate task that we are going to have, let me conclude on this one. Obviously, there is a time frame for these negotiations to take place. And if those negotiations fail, the legislation kicks in. It kicks in, and let me say, if there is a failure, comrades, that's why I'm saying don't ever feel helpless. Or we are helpless, or we are lying on our backs. If those negotiations fail and no credible government and local government is set up, then the law kicks in and there's a time frame that's put in place. And then there might have to be another election to actually elect our people. So comrades, what I'm saying to you, we are the African National Congress. As the ANC, we are always open to discussions, to negotiations. That is our DNA. That is our DNA. It is in us to have discussions and to have serious discussions. But we want principled discussions, discussions that are based on advancing the interests of our people. No. We want serious discussions. So the reason I'm saying, out there, it said that the ANC, it's defeated, it's near finished and all that. So we will enter those discussions, those negotiations with a form of seriousness, honesty, and with a clear intention of implementing the will of the people. We will not turn away from that. Our people have spoken, and we are going to do everything we can to give effect to the will of our people. And in doing so, we will try as much as we possibly can. Now, those who say they don't want to talk to us, clearly, we are not going to run after them. We are not going to do that. But we are going to sit down, whether they are like-minded parties or not. We will try and find a way in which we can have a consensus and form governments. Their experience, their competencies, and all that will be looked at and weighed up to see how best they are going to be capable to do the work. Yes, of course, it will also include the extent to which they have learned anything, qualification-wise or by experience or whatever. That is going to be brought into effect. Now, the national chairperson, being a miner that he is, in the mining industry we struggled for prior learning. And we said there must also be consideration for prior learning as you consider people's qualifications. That is important. Among other things, comrades, they need to understand the social, those comrades that we bring in, they will need to understand the social and economic drivers of local government. They need to have knowledge of budgeting, of financial management, and a firm grasp of the legal context of local government. Those are the types of people we now want for our local government. So that is the extent of the renewal, the rebuilding, the repositioning that the African National Congress has committed itself to. Above all, they need to be leaders in good standing. They must be leaders who are honest. They must be people with integrity and high ethical standards. They should have no criminal record, no pending corruption charge. Coordinated and service delivery is improved. Comrades, the ANC's 54th National Conference in December 2017 provided a directive to the entire leadership and membership of our movement when it said, open quotes, organizational renewal is an absolute and urgent priority, and we may go as far as to say it's essential to the survival of our great movement, closed quotes. Now, comrades, now that with these elections results, we also have a clear mandate from the people of South Africa for fundamental renewal and rebuilding. As the ANC, as I've been saying, comrades, we are not discouraged by the results of these elections because we are not defeated. We are not despondent or defeated. Comrades, we will continue to show confidence that we have won. We control 167. We control, yes, we have a majority in 167. And the next one only has something like 13. That is phenomenal. Now, don't go around with hanging your heads down. We have a setback. What we've gone through, comrades, is a setback. And we know the reasons for this setback. It's not like we need to go and employ analysts and so forth. We know the reasons for the setback, so it is a setback. And as we used to say in the trade union movement, the working class will go from setback to setback and setback, but ultimately the working class will be victorious. The same applies to the African National Congress. This is a setback for us, but we are also quite victorious because we are going to set up municipalities in a number of places, and we are going to appoint mayors, and our councillors are going to get down to work with immediate effect. So, comrades, the instruction from the National Executive Committee is the people of South Africa have spoken. They've spoken clearly and powerfully about what we need to do to regain their trust and to earn their support. We are more determined, the NEC said, than ever before to unite our movement, to correct our mistakes, to root out corruption and nepotism, and to be more accountable and to be more responsive to the needs of our people. Through everything that we do now, we will show that we are serious about fixing local government and that we are determined to build the ANC as an ever more effective instrument of meaningful and lasting change. There are many challenges that lie ahead, comrades, and there is much work to be done. But as the African National Congress, we are fully committed to do what the people of this country expect us to do and demand of us. From the formation of the various governments in all the areas which we control, to getting into discussions seriously to form coalition governments and to implement the will of our people. This, the ANC will do with immediate effect. Amandla! Amandla! Viva ANC, viva! Viva ANC, viva!